Okay, so you guys missed it. I'm so sorry. I was recording with my other GoPro that I bought from my brother, and it just gave me a warning that it overheated and turned off. So I just went through respooling this line. I added a leader to it, and I also found this jig head that I just found it at Academy. I'm gonna try it out, see how it does. But man, that sucks. But lucky for y'all, I have a second rod that I want to. A second rod that I want to respool. Yeah, try it. Okay. So, to get y'all up to speed, last time I went out fishing, I had a couple of good bites, and due to my line, due to my equipment, mainly my fishing line, like I said, due to my fishing line, I lost some really good fish. I was heading out toward East Cut over on South Padre Island. That's where you go on the beach side, and you drive on the beach to head out to a jetties that's over at Port Mansfield. But the only way to get out there is to go through South Padre on the beach side. And about halfway down the beach, I was test driving my brother's 2500 Ram, and I did some work on it, and so I was test driving the four-wheel drive to head out there to East Cut. And about halfway down the beach, my uncle that was with me, he saw some reds right along the surf, like right on the edge of the water. So I got down, and that inshore rod that's right behind me, the Ugly Stick inshore, which I've really come to love. I jumped out of the truck, I grabbed it. I had a jig head on there with a paddle tail. I believe it was a saltwater assassin shad, saltwater shad or something like that. And I just the redfish were like right there on the edge of the water. So I just threw it along the shore, maybe like 10 feet in, and started working it sideways back to me, and the redfish hit right away. Went to set the hook, started reeling it in. The redfish got all the way up to me, got right in front of me, pretty much where you guys are right now, about like 3 feet in front of me, and it popped its head out of the water. It winked at me, and it spit the hook back out. I'm like, So threw that lure back out, and threw the lure back out. Got hit again. Another red hit it again. And that time it snapped. I'm like, dang, okay. Then this rod, I tried working that shore a little bit longer. The redfish weren't hitting anymore. They were onto us, so we went over to the jetties. It was my first time out there, and it was actually looking pretty good. And this rod, the way that it's rigged up, I was casting into the channel, and I had a small piece of shrimp on it, and at the time we were mostly like catching catfish. There was a lot of catfish there, which, you start catching catfish or saltwater fishing, you might as well move on to a new spot. Well, it's the first time I ever been out there. I wanted to tough it out, so I put a small piece of shrimp on a circle hook and the set rig that I got there. I threw it out. I was able to get some pretty good distance out of it, and almost right away started feeling tap 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 tap. And with that, I set the hook. I was like, okay, let me bring this catfish in and toss it back out. And then it started peeling drag. I'm like, ooh, it's not a catfish. Fought it for about 2 minutes with it pulling drag, and then the line just snapped. So I'm like, man, like 2 of my rods with braided lines, the fishing line snapped. So I looked up, how often should you change your fishing line on, how often should you change your fishing line? And with the infinite wisdom that Google has, it says for fluorocarbon and also monofilament, you want to be changing your fishing line every 3 to 6 months, depending on how often you fish. And probably about a year for your braided line. It's been more than a year. It's probably been like 2 or 3 years with this line. And it's not, I just really don't have the time to change it out. But while I do right now, ish, I'm trying to get this done before my wife gets home, because she's going to be like, did you really do all that with the, you recorded in the house with the mess? I can edit it, jeez. No one will ever know the difference. Anyways, so yeah, so that's what I'm doing today, is I'm respooling my lines. Actually, Bama Beach Bum had a video come out a couple weeks ago where he was talking about trying to help out some other creators, especially the ones that are kind of struggling, like myself. And the advice that he gave me was to lean into my mechanic's mind and maybe do some tutorials, maybe come up with some creative fishing hacks and all that. So I'm gonna try to incorporate some of that in here. I really thought I had less line than this on here. While we're waiting, I do have a video coming up here soon. There is a truck that I need to evict from my garage. I need to get it finally put back together and give it back to its owner. And oh, there we go. And I got a John boat that I want to convert into a bass boat, bass bay boat, especially for where I'm at. And it's a 10-foot. I'm not sure what the brand is. I picked it up. It was super cheap. I'm gonna try to do a budget build on it, and then maybe see about doing like an all-out build. And then I want to do a series. Depending on how things go in the future, I want to see if I can turn that dinky little John boat into a CCA truck and boat package. Try to catch a tagged redfish with it. So let's move on to the next thing. And it's leaving my fingers blue a little bit. So, not that long ago, I went over to Academy. For my inshore rod, I got the 20-pound braid. For this rod, my other ugly stick, I believe it's the GX2. It's a pretty good rod. Probably not the best rod for using lures with. I have caught fish using it with the paddle tail, but I think it actually would make, it's a 6.5 foot rod. Let me see. Ooh. Yeah, 6.5 foot rod, medium heavy, 8 to 20-pound line, which this is the 30-pound line, but the braided is a smaller diameter, so it'll probably be just fine. And I think this rod would actually do really good on the surf, probably on the jetties too, like with set rig fishing and whatnot. So that's what I'm planning on doing this, which I'm actually going to set it up with a popping cork. This one is store-bought, and I'm gonna try to do a slight modification to make that a little bit better, because you know the triple hook on there kind of limits what kind of bait you can put on. So, but here's my little mechanics trick on this. Let me put my spool back on. I'll crank her down so we don't get any spinach while we're trying to spool. There you go. That's pretty tight. So my mechanics trick. So this is a stand that I have that it's used for I want to say test tubes. I can't think of it's a hydraulic, the cylinder to measure like the cc's, the volume of a piston, or not piston. You can test the volume of a you can test the volume of a dish piston, or you can test the volume of the intake runner, the combustion chamber, exhaust runner, or anything else that has hollow space, and you want to see how much is actually in there. So I'm gonna just run this new line through the eyes, and we'll start spooling it in. No. I don't know why my dog likes to go sit behind me. Oh yeah, I call you out and now you're like, oh, I don't want to sit there no more. Well, you always gotta give me such a hard time, Dad. Okay. It worked well for the other one. I'm gonna set it up. Um, I'm gonna set it up. The other rod, it did really well with taking the line. So when you go, if you're a seasoned fisherman, you're gonna know this. But if you're novice and it's your first time you're spooling up your fishing line, whenever you go to spool it up, make sure that your bail is open. Because if you try to spool your line with your bail closed like that, you're not gonna do anything. We all make this mistake sometimes when we're like in a rush or just not paying attention. So don't feel bad if you do that. And all I'm doing here is doing a simple square knot, 2 square knots to hold it in place. Try to get that as tight as possible. Which these scissors, they're specialized for they're Bass Pro Shops. They're like $5, but they're made to cut braided line. But they also have this flat part on there where you can actually use it to grip the braided line, to pinch it, and to be able to pull on it as well. Usually pretty easy. Sometimes you gotta wrap it around and help you pull on it like that. I don't want to go. Okay, now that's tight on the spool. I'm gonna trim off the excess, flip my bail, but don't flip Christian bail, he might get mad. You don't want to piss off Batman, I'll tell you that much right now. Okay, come on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this up. Let me see. Okay, it's working like this. So you can see, I just have it out there like this, and I'm just pulling it. And they say if it's pulling just fine, you can let some slack go. If it coils up like that, it's going on your reel just fine. If you give it slack and then it starts coiling up on your rod tip, then your odds of getting rim knots and all that increase. Okay, so now I'm just running this line through my fingers to try to keep some tension. As I'm spooling it on. Now when you're getting close, when it's looking like your spool is getting full, you want to stop. There's an edge You want to stop a little bit before it, because what they say and what ends up happening, if you put too much line on your reel, when you go to cast, too much line will come out at once and it'll create wind knots. So you want to leave just a little edge, and uh, using a lighter braided line on these reels that it's rated for will give you great casting distance to begin with. So um, so yeah, like you don't really got to worry about that too much. But yeah, you want to leave just a little lip, and this one is actually beveled, so there's a risk of going too far right away. I'm gonna do some more. Okay, there looks like I might be running into that risk of overspooling it. So the nice thing about this beveled edge here is it also helps for the line to release from the rod. And I'm going to cut that there, and I'm going to add this. I believe this rod would do very well with this float, with this popping cork. And here in a minute, I'm going to change out the hook. I might have my wife call me here in a minute. It's getting close to her getting up for lunch. Yeah. So another thing, when you're tying your knots with these braided lines, they recommend doing twice the amount, because there is the with these braided lines, there is they don't, it doesn't grip on itself like fluorocarbon or mono. Okay, I don't think that knot's going anywhere. Yeah, okay. That knot's not going anywhere. So trim that. And I'll get the hook here in a second. So I don't know how well you can see that, but that hook, it's a circle hook. This is what I'm gonna upgrade this this popping cork to, because while triple hooks are awesome, it's triple the chance of snagging something. This really kind of limits the baits that you can use. Yeah, it's great for shrimp. You can hook it on the head or wherever you want on the shrimp. But if you're wanting to use like some type of mullet or any other type of like a minnow type, a minnow type bait, it's really not that great. And but with this hook, I think the circle hook, it's meant to set itself. Supposed to catch them in the corner of the mouth. You can hook your shrimp on it. It's small enough for the shrimp, and it's big enough for your cut bait, or if you have like a live mullet. So I'm just gonna swap this on here. And I'm just gonna use a simple fisherman's knot on here. My brother, he has said with these heavier leaders that to don't do so many twists on them. Like with the fisherman's knot, typically you want you want to do like 4 to 6 twists of the line. And my brother said that you actually, with the heavier leaders, you really only want like 2 or 3 twists, and it'll hold just fine. I'm just gonna trim a little bit off of that. And that feels like it's holding. So with that, I upgraded my popping cork, my store-bought popping cork. So that's gonna do it for this video. I hope this tutorial helps you out, and hopefully next time you see me, I'll be out on the water with this new line, and hopefully with some fish on in the in the ice chest, on some ice for lunch. Because having my wife tell me that my best fishing spot is Walmart is not that fun. So we'll see you later.